candidates. One of the other objectives for the president last night, of course, this possibly the top line objective, which everyone I'm talking to says he met, is to prove that he was fit for a second term.
The entire Western world has spent the last 24 months opining about Biden's declining cognitive state. Despite the knowledge, and I mean knowledge, that his halting speech is the result of a childhood stutter, the media ran with the narrative that Joe Biden was a vegetable, that the Secret Service had to water daily, and definitely wasn't up to another run at the White House.
That 86% of the American people believe he is too old to take on what is the hardest job in the world.
He's got some difficulty, but it's not the age, because I know a lot of people that are much older than him that are 100% sharp. And
there's a reason for this. While Biden battled a post-pandemic recession and Putin's invasion of Ukraine, Trump was doing this. Which would mean that Trump was more qualified to be president if the job entailed acting like a chimpanzee with a hot poker up your ass while giving invisible hand jobs. Biden's State of the Union performance not only proved what many of us knew, that he could not only do the job, but in front of 50 million people, he could stand toe-to-toe with political adversaries and even hecklers.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's basically running the House Republican Conference, shows up in campaign paraphernalia. And then these people want to lecture Joe Biden because he delivered a strong and forceful speech that made them uncomfortable because he exposed their lies and shamelessness. We have one message for extreme MAGA Republicans who want to lecture us about decorum. Get lost.
Biden was outstanding, so much so that Fox is going to have to re-examine their bullshit narrative.
And welcome to Hannity. We start tonight with a Fox News alert. Tonight, President Joe Biden laid out his radical wish list for America. His speech was so hyped up, it was bizarre. I will not be shouting the whole hour. Frankly, so at odds with everyday Joe, it's even frightening. To me, he spent most of the night shouting, speeding through his speech, and clearly overcompensating from the normal everyday Joe that can barely string two sentences together.
I love this. Hannity has spent the last year and a half working this trope that Biden can't string two sentences together. So much so that after Biden's incredible State of the Union performance, they had to come out and say, well, he must have been high on drugs.
As well. But they failed. America stood.
But that's just thumb-faced Hannity, the face of Fox, the guy who dumped his wife after 20 years in the middle of a pandemic for a cute intern and now lectures Democrats on values and morality. Other voices at Fox, however, took note of Biden's performance and issued a warning.
It's clear that Biden did what he needed to do last night to unify his party. They were all singing his praises last night. You got the pundits on television that are now rallying behind Biden. The Republicans better get it together. Better figure out what they believe. They got a nominee now. They need to be in lockstep because the Democrats are going to be in lockstep. I saw James Lankford, who is still pushing this bill ahead. Your party is rejected.
The rest of Fox, however, is trying to work up a narrative that Biden is still weak, but not as weak as we might have led you to believe.
What I've been saying it all day. We may not know what his vision for the country is, but we know he hates Trump. We're very clear on that. 1 hour, 7 minutes, 17 seconds. So he reassured, I would imagine, at least on the stamina point, some of his detractors.
That's Fox's Harris Faulkner, whose pretzel logic would be comical, if not so sad and obtuse.
Some of his detractors, within his own party, about whether or not he's got the fitness to serve. He has the fitness to stand for an hour on a speech that he obviously could spew. And dial in that base of just kind of basic instinct anger. Like that emotion was his driver last night. He gave no hope and compassion for the people of this country. He gave no vision for the people of this country. He stood more for the border between Russia and Ukraine than he did our border with Mexico, where millions of people have come over illegally in this country. So, I mean, if the assignment was to look angry, be angry, and court the far left, really hold their hand, he got the assignment.
Well, wait, maybe Biden was slurring his words, because I'm pretty sure she just said Biden doesn't care about the border. You know, the border. The Biden-sponsored Senate bipartisan border bill to deal with illegal immigration that was defeated by Trump and MAGA because Trump wants the issue to campaign on. That bill?
They've also given me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know.
The far left, really? You mean like the majority of women in this country who want reproductive freedom? Or the millions of couples who cannot conceive naturally, but if MAGA has its way, will not have access to in vitro fertilization? Or the guns in the hands of killers invading our schools and killing young people by the thousands? Those far left people? Or how about the 100+ policemen who were hospitalized while MAGA beat them with American flags on January the 6th? Let me ask you a question. Why the f*** aren't you angry? The problem here, however, isn't just Fox. It's America. We live in a rapidly changing world of dating apps, Ubers, and if it doesn't cook in 2 minutes, I don't have time. We take videos of our children's plays instead of watching them. We don't read anymore and respond to sound bites more than a detailed narrative or analysis. And Trump played right into that. He dumbed everything down to, if I didn't say it, it's fake news. If you can make a human being out of cyclamates and orange dye, that's your guy. And if you think Trump can beat Biden after everything you've learned about Trump, what does that say about our country or about you?
Biden drops out, you worry that that could help Trump, that Trump might get.
If Biden drops out, they'll win, without doubt. Biden should drop out. That's the point. He's being selfish.
Yeah, I've heard that before, but it's just laziness. Biden's State of the Union exemplified not only his ability to speak under extraordinarily difficult circumstances, but to have such a grasp of the issues, he could ad-lib, joke, and even self-deprecate.
I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while.
Replacing Biden would be a mistake for a lot of reasons. The economy, this border bill, Ukraine, and his strong stance on social issues for women, LGBT, and the latest IVF controversy. But that takes me back to this incessant need we have to make everything so easy that we lose our critical thinking skills. My neighbor bought his kid a car that parallel parks itself, and a camera you can Photoshop frowns into faces. I think he even ordered the kid from Amazon. Joe Biden's old school mental acuity and his ability to handle those hecklers is in stark contrast to the slurring and angry outbursts Trump exhibits whenever he loses his train of thought. Maybe, and I'm just spitballing, we should listen to what is being said instead of how it's being spoken. When I was a teenager, I had a girlfriend whose sister had mental difficulties, so at her bequest, I would go to the special school and play my guitar. One day I got talking to one of the kids with cerebral palsy. He was hard to understand, so I spoke to him like he was an idiot. After a few days, I realized he was trying to explain to me the Washington Redskins playoff scenarios. I learned a big lesson that day. Biden's not easy. He's the hill you have to climb to get stronger. Trump, he's a fart in a Barco lounger while you eat fried chicken and drink Diet Coke. Everything's fine till you try on your pants and go to the doctor. Everything I've said and what you've witnessed at the State of the Union doesn't mean that MAGA and some Democrats won't keep pressing the lie that Biden is cognitively impaired.
A future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality.
And if after the State of the Union you somehow still hold that opinion, well, it won't be Biden's mental state I'm worried about.
Am I wrong? Damn right.
Yes!
Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
Follow, like, and hit notifications as Really American keeps you up to date on the latest Republican cult lie in this very important year. For Really American, I'm Chip Franklin.